Hello guys, welcome back to our brand identity design course. In our last video we talked about market research, and the first part of that video we talked about how to research your target audience like a pro. In this video we are going to talk about turning data into powerful insights and using that to build a clear, actionable strategy roadmap for your brand. But before that, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. This will help me to create more videos. You can also watch these market research videos on my YouTube channels to follow this video. Now back to our video, analyzing your data and visualizing it for strategic roadmap. The first question is, why does data analytics matter? Without proper analysis, you are just looking at raw data. But when you analyze your data, you uncover trends, you uncover patterns, you uncover insight that guides your brand decision making. For example, you can use the insight to ask some questions like, are your customer mostly Gen Z? Do they prefer Instagram over LinkedIn? Which product is selling the most and why? These answers help you to make informed choices instead of relying on guesses. The second thing in this video is the simple framework for analyzing your data. These are the simple framework you need. The first thing is to collect the right data. You need to look at the right customer demographic. You need to collect the sales report, for example, the website traffic, the social media metrics, and the customer feedback. You need to ensure that you collect the right data, because once you have the wrong data, then your analysis or the insight also will be wrong. The second thing you need to do is to clean your data. The data you collect will, come with a lot of chunks. So you need to clean the data, remove duplicate, correct errors, and organize the information in a clear format. You can also use software like Excel, you can use software like Tableau, and other software to remove errors. The third thing you want to do is you want to segment your data. So because you're having raw data and you need to group them into segments, this will help you to quickly identify the set of data you are working with. So you need to group the audience types, you need to group the product categories or the marketing channel. For example, you can separate your email from your social media followers. This will help you to organize your data very well. The next thing you need to do is to identify pattern. What this means is that you need to identify some important part of the data. For example, when you collect your data, you need to look at things that comes repeatedly to enable consistency or to track what is really happening. For example, you want to look at the essential metric in your data. You want to look for trend like high or low engagement. You want to look like maybe seasonal sales peak or frequently asked questions by your customers. So these are very important. You need to look at patterns that comes repeatedly. This will help you to track some of the important metrics you need. The next thing we want to do is we want to dive into the data visualization. When you collect your data comes in numbers. Your data comes in some things that might be difficult to understand to some stakeholders. So what we want to do is we want to make it visual. We want to make it in a way that they are going to understand. So what is data visualization? Data visualization makes complex information easier to understand. And here are some great ways to visualize your data. You can use bar chart and pie chart to visualize your data. For example, bar chart and pie chart are used for comparing categories like maybe top selling products. You can also use line graphs for your visualization. For example, for trends over time, like sales growth per month. You can also use heat map for your data visualization. Heat maps are maybe for website activities like where users click the most. You can also use customer journey map to visualize your data. Customer journey maps, these are used to understand how your audience interact with your brand from discovery to the purchasing or even the point that they come back. These are used to understand how your audience interact with your brand from the point of discovering your brand to the point of purchasing from you. This is very important. You also need to remember that a clear chart tells a story at a glance. So it's very easy for your stakeholders to understand what is happening instead of reading a lot of numbers, instead of reading a lot of data related. So you have to present it to them visually. For example, a bar chart showing 70% of your sales from your Instagram can guide the way you push out your content strategy. Lastly, we are going to talk about turning those insights into strategic roadmap. So we want to turn the insight we gather from our data into strategic roadmap. So how do we do this? The first thing you need to do, you need to define the goal. You need to define the goals you want to achieve. You need to use the insight from the data to set smart goals. For example, reshaping your brand communications. For example, you might be reshaping it for Gen Z, for millennials, or for a particular set of people. The next thing you want to do is you want to prioritize your actions. From the data, you want to focus on high impact areas first. For example, if LinkedIn is working very well, you want to channel all your energy on LinkedIn. If ads, Google ad, Facebook ad is working well for you, you want to prioritize your brand towards that section. So it's very important to prioritize actions that are bringing results. That's the reason why you need data. The third thing you want to do is you want to create a timeline. So you want to create a timeline for specific actions relating to your brand goals or relating to specific goals you've created. So map out what you do weekly, map out what you do monthly, and it might be quarterly. The next thing you want to do is you want to monitor and adjust your data or the insight or the strategy you put in place. Review the data regularly, update the visuals, and tweak your strategy to meet what you want to expect. If you find this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This will help me to create more videos like this. See you in the next video.